Every Memorial Day and every Labor Day, the tiny town of Packwood, Washington turns into a giant flea market. Over a mile of fields full of new stuff, old stuff, and antiques and vintage, and we are going there right now.
Well, here we are, and a lot of the antique dealers are right behind those trees.
Baby scale is cute because it has the stork on it. Old Kenworth truck badges in metal. Tachographs. Some newer and older kerosene lanterns, but mostly 20th century. Oh, I don't want all 24 shoes, even though that's a cheap price. I really just like this one. Wall pockets. We've got bamboo here. And this odd looking but kind of cute apple, but it's got some factory flaws. Royal Copley. Good price though. Actually, is that a factory flaw? It might just be schmutz. Yep, I think that's right. Well, for $5 I would take that. That wolf is up for adoption. Here we go. Small Takas 25 on the cart. Cooley Orchards. $3 on the canisters is pretty cheap. 10 on the old plow, that'd be yard art. Ozark, a brand you don't see too often, for $50. Made in St. Louis by Crescent Foundry. Pretty mirror here for $60. It would clean up just fine. 1930s. $50 on the liquefier for fruit and vegetables by Martin Pretorius in Hollywood. Wow. Would go with my Louis glass pitcher for $5 each. They've got some Pyrex in here. Wrestler photos, Billy Christian. Gypsy Joe. He looks like Al Bundy. The famous Jimmy Valentine. These are new reproductions of old glass fishing floats. How can you tell? Well, first of all, the rope is really fraying right away, even though they were just made. Secondly, if they're honest, they leave the Made in China sticker on. They're lighter weight than the originals. The pontal is not the same. They're cheap, but that's all you can say. A lot of campers in this part of Washington, and they have a lot of Coleman lamps for them, including a blue one, a color we don't see so much. Bunch of old cameras. All right, this looks a little more random, and this is where you find some of the better deals sometimes. Little Red Riding Hood plate, $6 on Skyflakes crackers. Cute old wind-up bank for $5. That's a Viking lighter, missing the lighter part. These folks used to sell in the field where I was. A lot of people had moved down here. Treasure Craft. 15 on both of the drummers. If the condition's good, I will take those. If you do any blacklight baking, all of those custard glass bowls will fluoresce, so 70 is a pretty fair deal. 25 on the Sereno tray is not bad either. It's got a lot of neat older things. 70 on the Rookwood. This is a nice depression glass, elegant depression glass piece. Blue Delphite glass, I believe that's McKee. Always like theirs. 50 for the set is about right. And you know, I would come up here and sell my show stuff at show prices and get it, so you know, not everything is going to be super cheap. Bergman photo at Stehekin, that's way up Lake Chelan. You have to go there by boat. Dined not wisely, but too well. That's actually really cool. From about 1910, I would say. This guy's having a day, but he's very fun, $10. Local scene. $80 for this old set, which is early McCoy with the grapes. And this Stangle piece with the fruit for only $5 is cheap. $3 on the Fiesta cup and saucer. Original feller.
Oh, okay.
I like the Anthurian can here. Feels like it's got the whole set from about 1950. Desco where red's a little gone on the bottom. $10 for the set. But we'll check out the condition. Candle holders here are cool. I always like this color. And they're Fulper. 20 seems like an okay price. $60 on this very fancy bowl with the czarist looking figure on it. Xiaomi Rose. Chinese, the made in China mark's probably early 20th century. $5 is a good price. 25 on the kitty. Only 5 on the Blue Ridge boot. Those used to sell for a bunch. Dolphin candlesticks only 10, but I'd love to have a pair. Oh yes, Fritz Cadenas. I have not seen any of these pieces for a while. There's the signature. Asking 25, very arts and crafts looking. Made by Metlock, company that made all the steins, and they're pretty cool. The way he outlined everything.
He invented a style.
Yeah, you sure see a lot of that look in the 19 teens, don't you, because of him?
Really negotiable on that, too.
Yeah, they're really fun. Nice little bowl here with the dolphin handles and stretch glass. Yeah, he does have cool stuff. I like the stork. Some uranium glass, of course. And 75 is actually a pretty good price on the Salviati candle here. Again, it'd be nice to have a pair, but that's a really great piece in a good color. And he's got the boxes. 15 for this one with the jade, and it is not bad. There is a flower frog for you. Must be Japanese. That's pretty cool looking. These are nice prices on these. This one has a hairline crack, but this one's good. Looks like the Roseville Donatello line. Weller did something similar, of course, because they like to copy each other back then. Is this enamel? Yes, very heavy at that. Yes.
Steuben.
Steuben or Steuben as we called it in the US, and they are not making this stuff anymore. Well, the first guy with antique and vintage had enough that I had to make a car run already. And this might be one of the coolest things you're going to see here. This is a jettisonable fuel tank from the war years, made by Seeger Refrigeration. Everybody was pressed into doing stuff for the war effort, and this is what they made. What a great shape. I'm not sure what you would do with it other than to hang it as a really interesting prop, unless you had an airplane museum. It's $8.50. It's just neat looking. Well, let's see what we have in the way of tins. That's a Russian fairy tale pin. Decent quality. $5 is a great price. We'll take that. $5 on the flowers. That's going to depend more on what style we see. But they seem to all be priced the same. This one has a date of 1989 and the signature, which I prefer. This one's a big old garret. Topaz pin from the 70s in the fall colors is 10. Decent construction. Not a bad price. This looks like another Judy Lee. I love their stones. Their settings are nice, but I just don't like the silver branches. They just have a cheap look to them. This is from the Century 21 World's Fair. Pair of ear clips, and I'll take those for a World's Fair collector.
Is she having a little luck? She's doing okay, small stuff.
Fun lucite now. This is missing a few stones. Probably be worth replacing. These would look fun on. They're only $5. Let's see what they have in thermoset. The hearts are kind of cute, and that's $5. I think because it's hearts, I would take that one. I'm pretty particular about thermoset. It's got to be a good color or a good design, but I think hearts make it at that price anyway. Let's see what else we have here. Might as well look through it all. This looks like an old China doll head turned into a piece. Okay, lots of cool various rhinestone studded lucite and celluloid here. This is our friend Julie. You saw her in the Fife video. She was just setting up in that antique mall. Little piece of Scottish jewelry here. Well, to look like Scottish jewelry anyway. It's a miracle. Her film is cute, but it's missing a little end there.
Darn. Too late.
Perfumes. Lots of inexpensive pins and pendants. This is a cute frame. You put your pictures in there. Made out of fabric. That's very sweet. A little bit of separation there. You could glue that back together. The crystal frog is pretty cool. It's the quality of Baccarat, but no signature. And it's not the same design either. But I like it for $15. And only $2 a piece on these. We certainly saw a lot more on them when we were in the Bremerton area, because it's a Navy town where the customers for that live. Here's some really cool pieces. I love the cardboard cat from the 1940s. That's very fun. And you see also owls and other things. Whoops, I'm going to move that before it goes. Oh, that's Sanborn's for $20 out of Mexico. Nice sterling piece. Lots of big lucite flowers. Those are great. More thermoset. She definitely has a lot of fun stuff. She also has a lot of serious stuff, as we saw in her mall. And a couple of cameos. May I see the 2 cameos, please? Well, we go into our little bubbles because I came out of there and couldn't remember which way I was going.
There's also a whole lot of shopping on the highway coming up here, so look forward to that in the future. If you haven't subscribed, well, please do, and click the bell to be notified of those future videos.
Now there is a serious mixing bowl. The chartreuse one next to it, is that Bauer? I thought so. Good color. High lead color, unfortunately, but great color. Pyrex sets. $55, $65.70. Now again, you're going to see lots of stuff that's new, handmade. It's going to be everything. But that little shed there, if it's my friend Ken who's still sewing in there, generally has a lot of good stuff. And I bought some stuff here too. Nice serving set, early 1900s, probably English. They're asking $40, cracking the handle, unfortunately. It says EPNS, so it's nickel silver. Die cut from Roslyn, Washington, which is where Northern Exposure was filmed. And this is going to be from about 1920. It's advertising Willie's Night and Whippet cars, which haven't been made for a while. Art tray here. There's your signature. Grab boxes of jewelry. Early Mormon compendium there. Nice Russian lacquer, but it's chipped. This is one of the more involved applied pieces because it's Coalport and they were a little better quality. The Michael Jackson record player. If this was in better shape, it'd be a pretty great thing. Cute little mesh purse here. A little bit of paint loss, unfortunately. It's pretty clean on the other side. Interesting flask here made out of brass. That looks Turkish. They're all penny watches. Towards the end of pocket watches, they became very inexpensive things that just cost $1 or less. The fact that any of them still run is amazing. See if we find anything interesting in here. Some cameos, no frames. Oh, that's a nice little paperweight in a bag.
How much for this one?
Perthshire. $60 though, that's what I would ask.
$80. Where'd that come from? You know? China.
Cute little picture blocks. That's very sweet, from about 1890. Not in perfect condition and not all there, but still a great thing. Roadmaster, yes, this is from an old bicycle. And old bicycle emblems do sell. 25 is a fair price. These are some pre-Republic Japanese pieces, Imari. Well, the dealers hit this one early and hard, so we'll see what's left, but he does get some pretty good stuff. Smokeless gunpowder. His stuff, you just make a pile and then he gives you a price. Old Boy Scout packs. I remember a few of the older scouts had these. All right, let's see what we have in here. Lots of license plates. Okay, Fox. Yeah, that was a station for a while. Yeah, he says he's been very busy. Oh, here's one of these paperweight lamps. I think this is going to be St. Clair. Butterfly box is fun. I think it's newer than it looks, but newer might be 70s Majolica. Cute top. Totem pole. Little atomizer. Needs a ball, though. And let's see which one this is. Captain Moore retired. Okay. Fenton bells. Huh? I might need the painted one. Ah, yes. My dad's Mustang had this logo. Shuttlecocks car bases. Bicentennial commemorative. Well, you know, 250 is next year, so maybe some of this bicentennial stuff will start to sell. More Boy Scout stuff. This looks like a... What is this, actually? Patented. It looks like it's supposed to hold decks of cards. Some army ribbons underneath. A whole lot of this unit here. These police band radios are popular to collect now. Tacoma, Washington. Back when it was still vying with Seattle to see which would be the biggest city. Seattle won. But look how they're still calling Mount Rainier Mount Tacoma. The original name. I really like these plates, actually. I think that's a falcon on there. Birds of America. Bird of Washington. Yeah, these were done by Adams in England from the original Audubon drawings. Well, it's fun running into people I haven't seen for a while. And that's certainly happening here, which is great. So I know the antiques and vintage must be here because I'm running into people who bought from me here. Salute to a guardian of scouting. Yeah, I've got someone who likes scouting stuff, but he's in the East Coast. Will I be able to get that to him? Maybe. This is interesting to me anyway. It's Shriners. 1933. But I like the fact that it's made by Lennox, and that tells you that, like everybody else, they were trying desperately to find some market in the 30s. So I think it's got to be kind of obscure. A Belite base here with the green mark. Shaving mug with a place for your brush. And then this is interesting. Is this a muffineer? It is, because it has a stopper. No, it's a hat pin holder. It's a hat pin holder because it has a large hole. You have too much powdered sugar coming out otherwise. Blue oil jar is nice. A little bit of a glaze flaw on the handle there. That looks like a 1930s piece. Okay, let's see. 1980s atomizer there. 1960s atomizer there, but the ball is loose. Little candy container jog in a greenish color. That's different. I think that's just fired on though. Okay, this is just silly, but look how happy that kitty is with his whiskers sitting up there. PEMC. Ponce or Darlene. And then make a good ring holder with that tail up like that. That's just fun. Commissary issue from the National Scout Jamboree in 1981 in Virginia. Now that's different for a scouting thing. Schlitz makes it greater. 1970s from that shape. Let's see, is this Dealey Ceramics out of California? I do believe it is, and there's their mark. It's hard to read, but I recognize it. That's just sweet. Northern Pacific, the Yellowstone Park Line. That's an old railroad ashtray from the 60s. I'd be interested in that. Those always sell for me. Cub Scout uniform and insignia. Bunch of those. This looks like it might be a bunch more scouting stuff. Oh, including a guide to scouting collectibles. Michael Jackson Thriller air fresheners. You can smell like the Great Gloved one. Well, my friend who does the records isn't here this time, but in his honor, I'm going to take a look really quickly and see if there's anything interesting. Disco Duck. The Who Live at Leeds. Lips Inc., yes. One-hit wonders, but people really still like Funky Town a lot. So they did 3 other songs. A bunch of Boy Scout manuals here. Senior Scouting, Exploring. Also a bunch of uniform pieces here, including a sash that should have merit badges, but it looks like they were removed. Apparently there was a donkey patrol. Niagara Falls Whimsy from about 1900, made by the Native Americans and sold to tourists there. This Taylor perfume. This is pretty cool. The woman with the cows in the stream and the dog and the sheep. This is from about 1900. Frame is a little damaged. The print's in great shape. Well, we bought Parkline earlier today. Let's see if there's anything in there. Oh, the anchor. I'm not crazy about that one. Northwest Air. This is really cool. It's missing an engine though, but it made its crash landing successfully. The rest of it's in good shape. He's got a bunch of stuff out here too. I'm not really interested in the left side at all, but there might be something over this direction. Tom and Jerry, Disney, 1945 popular mechanics, useful ideas. 30 cents in Canada. They always make the Canadians pay more. Nice chintz cup and saucer here. Royal Standard in the peach tree. That's a nice pattern. I imagine he wouldn't charge a lot for that. I think I'll add it to the pile. Here's one of those Zenith Transoceanic. This is much smaller than the previous generation, but has the big wave magnet and can get stuff from all over the world. You hit the release button here and there's all of your logs and charts and the front end. It's a good unit. They sell pretty well. Let's see who made this totem pole. Alaska Black Diamond. Wow. Somebody paid a lot of money for this new. I don't know what he'll want for it now. It's not terribly, terribly old even now. But it does have the lore of the totem. Talking about the eagle. Having a conversation about the frog shaman who will bring the rain. Nice Fenton peach blow. The pitcher is a harder piece to find. He's asking 40. There's probably room in that. I'm imagining it might sell for 80 or 85 in the right hands. Some carved hardstone, a Hall teapot, some more perfume bottles, Budweiser ashtray, a Westmoreland piece there with the Charlton decoration. Light beer advertisement, but I really like the sand painting better. Let's see if it has a signature or information on the back. Coyote and Son of the Eagle. There's our artist down there at the bottom. He has a shed, and the shed has a high shelf, which means there's more to see, including this wonderful thing. This looks like 70s humor gone awry. And there it is. All that hype for that. Shampoo dispenser, lots of classy things here. I do like the butterfly display. Those definitely sell. I'll ask about that. Spitz of Philadelphia. It's kind of an interesting sign, or, oh, it's the top of the light. Okay. Pedro and Dixie Cleaner ones we see fairly often. Condition is fair. Zenith Radio. Crusader and Nor'Wester Region 11 Boy Scouts of America. That's something a little different. Well, we'll find out about that too. Fenton Violets in the Snow. That's a nice piece because it's the compote, so you really get the violet pattern inside and out. One of their earliest painted patterns, and not with the signature. Royal Dalton here.
Just 30 that time.
That's been turned into a little cellar of some sort. Cool Betty L fire truck. And the farm truck with the battery operated. That's neat. He really does get a, well, he buys all year for this and then comes up and sells a ton in one weekend. It's a pretty cool deal.
I'm not leftovers, but it's still.
Today's scouts, tomorrow's leaders. That's very 50s looking. Strength and Liberty. Scouting builds better men. More whimsies as well. They do tend to lose their beads, unfortunately. But it's neat to see a collection again. I haven't had a collection in a long time. The ones from Montreal were made later, around 1950. There's a story behind that. It was done as a fundraiser. Little box is cool. I just made my second run to the car. I have spent about $150 today so far. I am loving the deals I'm getting. Well, more Coleman lanterns and this really neat red and silver stove. I haven't seen this one before. They've got 30 on the little one for picnicking. 85 on the Red Wing number 5 jug. These old models are pretty cool in the original box. $5 new, $50 now. I did not know Temecula, California was the apricot capital of the world. For $170, you can tell everyone. Little pixies in the gravelware. These are hard to find. The Seattle Pilots did not have a good inaugural year, and that was their only year. This is priced at $120. They're scarce. More 70s humor. I guess you shoot darts at the board to determine things to do. I think we'll just leave it at that. These are great Cortelli Italian folding lucite chairs. $625 for the set. They do have some scratches that need to be buffed, but that could be done. It's actually not a bad price for all of them. So there we go. A 5-cent 1930 slot machine when they first were legal. That is pretty cool. $5.50 as found. There are people who could restore those and be worth twice or three times that. Neat little Corona typewriter here too, an early portable before they merged with Smith. $24 is a decent price on this necklace. Micro Mosaic is $38. That's an older one. Aw, sad fish. This is really cool. This is signed to Don James, and Don James was the coach of the Huskies when they won the national championship the first time. My friend Dave Space, he has Pioneer Antiques in Puyallup. I'm going to have to get in there and film sometime, but he brings really cool things up here to Packwood. Ship's clock is really nice, Seth Thomas, but I really like this piece, and it's in great shape actually, celluloid cover. This is Admiral Dewey, the hero of Manila from the Spanish-American War. Shows the battleships Olympia, Baltimore, Raleigh. It's a pretty great cover. $68 seems like a good price for that photo album, actually. This is neat. Roger Silverplate with the glass eye. Look at the glass eyes there. With this dog end, it is $125. That's a pretty neat piece. Northwoods cologne and aftershave, and never used in the original box. His and his. Head and Magic Minnow. He's got old lures. These are the kind you want. You're looking for wood. Also a couple of salmon plugs from Tacoma because, well, salmon are a big fishing industry up here. Old phone box phone, and that is only $98. That's actually a good price now. Lots of Star Trek The Next Generation and Voyager. You know, that's been a while since those were out. So there are definitely collectors now. Dollar matches. This one's cool because it's for the old Crosley radio. The 6-tube Super Sextet. If that was in better shape, I'd get that because a radio collector would love it. Canadian Restaurant Association, your good food host coast to coast. Meet me at the Quaker Coffee Shop in Banff. I love these drunken-looking decanters from the 1930s. These often are marked Germany, sometimes Ramses of Germany. They're just having so much fun. They usually lose some of the red cold paint, though. This is Peters and Reed, the little hanging basket there, $48. There's the mark on the bottom. This is from the 20s. Okay, this place says it has the best prizes in Packwood. They used to be in the field next to me. A couple of the fields shut down, so now people have moved over here. This seems like the place to be. I hope to come back here and sell sometime. Yeah, $5 table. Lots of Japanese critters. And the world paperweight that we see quite a bit. 60 on the 3-blade propellers, about right. St. Helens Ashware with Native American transfers on it. I have not seen that design before. Well, I got one totem today. This one is 15. This looks like a Japanese one with the staples from the 60s. This is a cute basket with the really nice shell art in the bottom. That's rather appealing for only $15. The original floating bridge in Seattle, built in 1940. Bank of California. These bank books are definitely collectible, $12. Now they have two prices on it. These are dealers I know from Oregon. We'll see inside their booth in a minute. $6.50 on the Harlequin plate, and that pretty periwinkle blue is nice. $28 on the Evesham casserole is not bad. Samson folding tables. We sell the folding tables for a lot less than the sign sells for now. To my pal. 15 on the silhouette. That's not a bad price for that size with the copper banding. Here's the difference between the two genie bottles. You can see it in the price. Before I Dream of Jeannie came out, someone went to the liquor store, saw that, and said, we're going to make her house based on that. Then they redid them with the handle. The ones without the handles are the ones that people want. Chicken in the Rough, nice cafe ware plate here. $24, not a bad price on that. Shawnee Winnie the Pig cookie jar, that's cute for $85. They do get some good stuff. Generally find something to buy here too, so we'll keep looking. Fabric flags, Liberty and Union. These look like they're some of the early American colonies. The G-Man. This guy is great. The foreign sports car, and he's an ashtray, and he holds unfiltered cigarettes or matches. This is Enesco. $25 doesn't seem bad for him. Hard to find in good condition. In the back here we have the oldest football player ever. Also Enesco for $12. People Cresseline in the box with everything for $40. That's a good price. You do get a lot of fun things. Old Jug Lager, Nashville, Tennessee. But it has a Glasgow pottery mark. It is cool. I did not know Chase made this piece, and there it is with the mark right on it, right after Prohibition. And this is your bottle opener. Very cool. So Chase Copper and Brass did that. Interesting. These are cute. These were given out by Amana Society. Amana was the Utopia. It's where they make appliances now, of course. $18 for the pair. They do have a lot of neat stuff in these spaces. I see something I want to buy already, but we'll take a look at Briars for a minute too. There's the Western Prancing Horse with the blanket. A lot of kids took the blankets off and those are missing. Ultramarine Swirl Candy Dish. That's a pretty pattern. That's one color of depression glass that really still sells well. Fenton with the pink crest. Treasure Craft Yellowstone Park Pineapple. I'm not sure how pineapples and Yellowstone Park go together. Santa Anita ware. This is the Renee swirl. We've seen pictures of Renee. They used her in their advertising. Nobody really knows what her design background was, but there is her signature, 1951. And there are collectors for this line. Desk blotter. Don't monkey with anything on this desk. The hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil monkeys. Definitely popular in their time. She looks like a California pottery from the 40s. Here's a Joseph in the middle that we don't see so often. Black eyes, it's an older one. And she's very cute with that huge billowy skirt. And whoa, a little bit of wind today. And then only $12 on the Flamingo Grotto, but the flamingo's neck has been fixed. This weird guy is a Sirocco bowler. He's celebrating that he got a strike by dancing on the pins, but it is actually an excuse to hold a brush. That's kind of fun. $12 for this crazy dinosaur bank from the 1970s. Or is it supposed to be Puff the Magic Dragon? I'm not sure. It's got a few little cracks, otherwise that's a great price. The March of the Bottle Cap people, $22 each. $40 seems like a good price on this, especially if it's Oaxacan. We'll take a look. There's our mark. Marginier. I'll have to look into that. Ooh, nice jugs. Amaranth billiard balls or pool balls. All right, we are going into one of the last tents in this particular section. Antique autos. I've never seen them with a bale before. A couple of bosun's heads. Here's one of these Egyptian perfume bottles from about 1990. They're very thin, but they're nicely designed. Some old signs. It's royal, take a brick home. Oil cans, and then a whole bunch of sand pails. I sell these pretty well in Florida. They look like they're asking 17 to 23 a piece, except for this one because it's, well, corroded. When you see these scramble paperweights with logos in them, look at the bottom for wear. If it's finished like this, it's a 1990s reproduction. And they are the ones who organize this particular group of vendors. We'll have to be in touch with them when it's time for me to come back here to sell. Certainly cheap on these barn find furniture pieces. This is from the 1870s. It's got the original hardware. It's only $95. That would clean up pretty easily. Washstand commode, a little bit more mold, but again, that could be cleaned up. $75 on that chest of drawers from about 1890. And this table from the same era sold for $20 as is. Well, now we are walking all the way across the street where there is another giant field full of stuff. Not as many antiques usually in this field, but you never know. It depends who shows up. And there are a couple of dealers I usually buy from here. Let's look at trade cards for a moment. Buckingham's dye for the whiskers before using, and then you're going to see him with a dark beard. That one's kind of neat because it's mechanical. Dandelion tonic with the teapot. That's cute. Coffees, that's a neat one, but they're a little more common. Certain subjects are rare, and that's what I'm looking for. This one's nice because it talks about birthstones. The garnet means fidelity. How about July? Ruby love. We're try it hot. The uniformed worker at Heights Pure Food Establishment, that was a big deal. That everything was sanitary and in bottles and cans. Do not use too much Church's soda, which is Arm & Hammer. Sewing machines, there's a lot of those. This class of cattle packed in cans, they must be big cans. This one's got a cutout for Herbal Remedy of San Francisco. This one's nice because it's the horse. Oak tan. Harnesses and trunks. That might be of interest. My friend does the agriculture show in the Midwest, and he might like that for there, although it looks like it's been ripped out of its book. This is Mitch's space. Mitch is out of Tacoma, and he gets cool stuff, and he gets a lot of stuff. So we're going to see if any of his stuff should be our stuff. Various old early horseless carriage lamps from 1910s era cars. Big old anvil again, $600. They have really gone up. Old school amplifiers, $175 on the Heath kit, $150 on this Heath kit. Midland transistor radio. Bunch of shoe lasts. Aircraft carburetors. Well, this is a specific type of manual. And then sheet music. Somebody's bolded they got shipboard made in Yokohama. $95 on the Coke chalkboard there. Canada Dry. I think that's about what I got for my last one. And a dollar table. The visible V8. This is a pretty collectible piece, if you can find it with most of the stuff in it especially. You can truly get just about anything you can imagine at this swap meet. And you kind of open and close when you want, so It's only 3:30 in the afternoon, but some people may be closed already. They may have gone shopping while they can. Tomorrow should be really busy. Some of these can be Danish, but I don't think that is. No, these are the Japanese ones. You know, a lot of this is just people saving up all year long from garage sales or because they didn't want to have a garage sale at home. So again, you just never know. There's some Bakelite cake breakers. Woods of Hawaii monkey pod, $2 for all of them. That's cheap as can be. I don't know if it works, but the bowling clock for $18 is tempting. Let's see if it has a cord. First of all, yeah. Well, have to take it and go plug it somewhere, but that could be a buy. Now I'm on the wrong aisle and I've forgotten where I was. So I'm going to go back to where I started. These are out of this town of Yucca Valley. My cousin lived there for a little bit. $3.50 on the old gas stove here, the Vulcan. $2.50 on the Potbelly. Good old farm plow wheel for $35. Some crosscut saws. Wow, are they going that high? I need to get my other two out to sell. These folks drive all the way from California to do this show, and that explains perhaps why we're seeing a whole lot of Los Angeles pottery stuff from the 70s. Who did this? 20-year best offer. Oh, Japanese stoneware. Well, it's a nice shape. My rule is to do the perimeter and then go to the inside so I don't lose track of where I've been. This guy's got some great embossed signs, but of course, those are expensive these days. $180 on the yield. $1 table, including this thermos kit with the bag and everything. In fact, there's a few of them there. $5 table includes this old toaster and the old popcorn maker and a bunch of old rules and a bunch of old hanging scales. But they've got a lot of galvanized. $20 for the one with the axle grease and the lid from Standard Oil of Indiana would be the one to buy, I think. Oh, they sold the cream separator. They were asking $150 for it. That actually is a pretty good price, especially if it's in working order. Copper still, they're asking $175. Old round tube mailboxes from the 40s and 50s. This one's the Journal, $90. I like the Frit. Oh, and they've got the license plates from all over the place. Miniatures and the date tabs if you need them. I know these are California because they follow the shape of the plate. To the fire escape, that's a pretty good embossed sign there. $100. The emboss have just really gone up. This is a racist depiction of Tojo from the Second World War. And yes, that was intentional. Old Doctor's Grill badge is cool. And they have the AAA as well. And more valuable than the embossed are these with the reflectors. Railroad Crossing is a really good one. Stop on Red Signal is $500. Cowgirl and Cowboy Boots for $40. Take this as another puzzle box with great early lithography. A Navy lock. That's a big old heavy one. GRW. This is from overseas. This looks like a railroad lock here for Burlington Northern.
Is it that way here? Yes.
Acme beer sign. You do see some really neat stuff at this particular meet. 48 and 45 on the egg scale. I got a similar price to mine recently. Murano dish. The two-tone here is $60. Some nice Fenton lime green. See individual piece for price. $78. These are new Martinsville Janus pattern swans. This was right before they went out of business and then were reconstituted as Viking glass. $68 on the coal scuttle is actually a pretty good deal. Micro mosaic, $20. Not bad. Curious to see what the Trojan is. It's a carved shell cameo, but I'm curious about the price. Well, I've been on a totem kick today, and here's a cool tray with a bunch of them from about 1950. The Mighty Norge. I bet this thing still works. These are cute. These are Lefton, similar to Miss Priss. $8 for the pair, but one of them has a big hairline crack, unfortunately. Animals on nests. Valerie Stahl. They have $60 on that one. $38 on that one. Little Blue Duck is $30. Bunch of Greentown, Indiana chocolate slag glass. Prices are not expensive nowadays. They used to be 20 and 15 and 40 on the big bowl. And set up your laboratory, and the prices are pretty good on this lab glass. 25 on the big beaker, 40 for the one with the liner. Liner was made by Coors. And then you've got a small and large funnel. Back when everyone had to have a dish, namely an antenna, you had to use one of these to turn it to get the signal. Hook this up so you can use it with Bluetooth now. 35 on their big Blaupunkt radio is actually a really good price, which makes me think it probably doesn't work. Little ship's wheel is old, aged, and $45. This would probably sell in Florida. It's a little loose. Probably have to replace that screw. $20 on the Mac Bulldog side emblem. These are old country primitively made chairs. You can see the old alligatored finish. Somebody did all this work by themselves. Very rustic. If you like primitive, that's about as primitive as it gets. Well, this railroad crossing sign needs a little help, but it's only $125 because it's the decals rather than the reflectors. Lots of carnival chalkware. Oh, this rubber cat. My sister had something like this when she was a baby, and my mother looked for one forever, and now here it is, $10, but too late. Gold 60s era sets. I like this with the steeds on them. $10 each. That's about right. And they have someone's maps.
It's cute. I like it.
In here I see some musical instruments and an old speaker, a Filmo sound, old cameras. I like the silver saxophone for $200. Nice looking RCA Victor radio. That seems pretty clean, from about 1950. And lots of vinyl. This person seems to know their vinyl. Bottles. My friend in Tri-Cities who used to do the show up here, he liked shopping for bottles. Volga beer. A real beer. Time Life Western series is one of the ones that are more popular, especially up in this neck of the woods. Uh-oh, feather hats. Oh, yeah, that one's had a little bit of a tough life. That one too. That one could be repaired. And you'll see new stuff here as well. I suppose some of these will be cross-collectible at some point. Well, we've got a little bit of glass here. A Viking three-toed piece. Cream can from Shields Harbor in Oakland, California, $40. An Orange Jelly Smith Goose Girl. A couple of Skookum dolls. The one on the left is a little damaged. The one on the right looks better. We're just over the mountains from Yakima, where these were invented in the 1920s. They originally had apples for heads. Let's see which one we have in here. An elk. People do collect pipes. This is the second display of them I've seen today. First one with the humidor, though. Mortar and pestle. That's a different color than marble. We usually see white.
What I've noticed, all neat.
They match these horse bookends. It is a masterpiece, based on the little boy peeing from Belgium, the statue. These were done in the late 60s, early 70s, of course. Nice rock polisher from about that time, new in the original box. Alf and Yogi Bear, a generation apart, both vintage now. Cute little child-sized banjo. I don't think I've ever seen a child-size before. Looks 1920s or 30s when these were really popular, before electrified music. You needed instruments that were loud. I'm curious the price. That was Pilgrim cranberry glass, but that one is broken. Robin Hood with a great cover, but a little bit scratched.
Yeah, you don't want to buy that you already bought. I have no clue that switch. It ain't worth that far.
Yeah, I think you had to put it there. Just go working it up.
KPM porcelain out of Germany. Really rather interesting. At first I thought maybe it needed a lid, but it seems to be decorated on the edge.
Each either one.
Chinese apothecary chest.
Hope everything works out good for you.
Thank you. It's supposed to, you know, I mean, they say I'm going to live. That's the important thing. So this is Ron, and he has this really cool Schwinn bike because he fixes these up. And people buy these and ride them all over the park here. What year is this one?
It's a 1976.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
All the parts are made in USA.
I was going to say, because it looks like an older bike.
Yeah. An old Schwinn stair.
Oh, very cool.
The old brick tread tires.
Yeah, see, he really knows his bikes. That is sweet. And you've got what on it? 275? 375. Okay. That seems
got a horn built in the tank.
nice. Very cool. I might need that to ride around here. Oh yeah, he gets stuff. License plate, miner's hat. That's pretty cool with the light on it. 25 is a pretty good price actually with the light built in. He gets a lot of cool stuff. I like the old Coca-Cola with the boat tail there, $95. And he rebuilds carburetors and cars. And they have a record store in Tri-Cities, which I'm going to go show you at some point because they know their stuff. Ah, the Ice Habit. And there's a couple I haven't seen, and I thought I'd seen them all. I don't think I've seen the fish. One's my limit. I can see why. Everything I like is illegal, immoral, or fattening. If you're so darn smart, why aren't you rich?
Need more limit now.
Okay.
It's awesome. We've been out here for some years now.
Yeah. I've never seen a miniature of these.
Just
I think it was actually a little more of the TISM.
So you got this rolled into the here and just saw it?
Wednesday morning, walked in, and the old guy that sells all the lanterns had it.
Wow.
And it's made in Germany.
Oh, that's neat. So it's before the Second World War.
It's got a gauge, and it's got its own lighter.
Wow.
The glass. It's got the.
This is pretty nice, yeah, with the original glass and the etching and everything.
It's pretty.
That's pretty cool, actually. How much did you get for that?
I scored it for 100, and I've already been offered 300.
I was going to say, I think that's a really difficult thing to find, yeah.
I've got quite a collection of Colemans going right now.
How cool. Yeah, everybody's doing the Colemans, but this is really different. I have never seen that one before.
Brooks lantern I think I've ever seen.
Super cool. All right, this is a lot of random stuff. Silvertone radio, $10. Boy, if that worked, that'd be a good price. No, they did not just make metal tile holders in the 1970s and dinosaur-shaped cast iron trays in the 80s for baking. They also made this big old bench vise. They're asking $250 now. Super darts, $40, and leisure products darts next to it. Knockoffs of jarts, of course. I wonder if you might be able to get away with selling these on eBay because they're not looking for these. A lot of people doing the pack mule thing here in Packwood. Well, we've done the west side of the Packwood Flea Market. We have all the rest of town to do, and we will have more video coming soon.
If you enjoyed this video, check out this one. Also, click thumbs up to like this video and check the description for information about our Patreon, our memberships. We've got a lot of different levels with different perks and bonus videos and early content. Also, please do check out our website, theantiquenomad.com, for appraisal help. And we'll see you again for more adventures in the antique and vintage community soon. Bye for now.